What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So we're going to continue, well, I have been, I've been working on the working class copper bullion bars. I just haven't been able to produce any and put any up for sale because I've been busy. Been very busy. And I still have all of this to go. Yeah. It's one of those things, like, people think like, just because you got yourself into a multi-family home that, you're good. No, not quite. Not when the house is like, yeah, it's old. It was falling apart. I had meth heads upstairs and drug addicts downstairs because the place is old and disgusting. So no good tenant is going to want to rent this place. So I'm all in at this point. I'm going all in on trying to at least get two of the apartments up to snuff, which I already did upstairs. Great tenants up there now. Now I'm trying to get 2-bedroom done, get great tenants in there, and then when I jump over to the biggest apartment, I can hopefully relax a little bit, and hopefully interest rates come down before then. I can refinance. It's going to make things even easier on me. And we should be able to get back into pumping out some bars. But in the meantime, I'm not shutting down completely. I just don't have time to fire up the forge and do all the grinding and all of that stuff. But this has been running and running and running and running, and it never shuts off. Except for today, because we have to do a little service. And I want to update some totals here. Yeah, so right now we're trying to, this pit finished first, and I've been having some issues over here. I don't know why. It might be the bars, I'm not sure, but the copper that's growing on the wire is just so, it's like rock freaking hard, man. And I've changed the wire twice on this one. That one's the same wire it's been for a long time. But this one I have to keep changing the wire because I can't get the copper off. So this one's still running. Oh dude, there's still quite a bit of copper on those. Yeah, oh my god, there is quite a bit. That's kind of crazy. Like, I thought the faster it went, the more light and fluffy it was. And I've had them at the same voltage. 7 volts is what I keep them at all the time. But for whatever reason, I can't, like, this one just done. But everything was rock hard, welded onto that wire, I couldn't get it off. And this one, I guarantee we pull it out and it just fall off. Yeah, but there's quite a bit left. I think at this point, you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm just going to, because I want to keep these on the same schedule. I want to keep them both running. I think we're going to clean this one, put new bars, get it back up and running. We're going to pull these ones early, and we'll just reprocess them. So before I pull the bars out or disturb the fluid at all, I'm going to carefully draw that down until the fluid coming through this hose turns from blue to purple. Once I see purple, I shut it down immediately. Alright. Don't disturb. Carefully. Ooh. Yeah, this one, we got most of it. All right, this is definitely going a lot better now that I figured out the electric pump and don't disturb the fluids. Like you can pull the coil out carefully, but I don't even touch the bars. I leave it, because if you stir it up, it takes another 2 days to settle out. This one I ended up kicking it up a little bit more than I would have liked. So it took about a half a gallon more to fill it back up. And this one, I was able to pretty much get all of it. So it only took like a little bit to top it off. But I just kind of realized we've got a problem here. So I'm gonna have to take a little bit of time away from my house, just so I can keep this going. You know what I mean? I want to have bars in the queue, ready to go. It's not a big deal to come down here once a month or every week to harvest, and then once a month to clean. It doesn't kill me. But then starting to melt, pour, grind sand, stamp bars, that takes a ton of time. But we only have 3 bars left in the queue, so that's not even enough to set these back up in about a month. So we're gonna have to pause. Yeah, and this bin, oh my god, that is way heavier than it looks. But if I put the lid on, yep, the copper is touching the lid. So this bin is literally full. Oh god. So now we'll start working on that one. So it's kind of weird, like it's kind of funny how the timing of things and the way things work out sometimes. Because I just finished a room. I can't move forward in my house anymore because I need to get a dumpster. It's going to be like a week before I get that. And I have a roommate moving out this coming Wednesday. And I decided to take the day off. I didn't schedule any work for Wednesday. You know, I kind of want to be home when somebody's exiting your residence, you know what I mean? But I figure Wednesday we can remelt all of this, all the tailings, and we might be able to throw a couple more of these really, really impure bars. Not in with the tailings, because the tailings have already been kind of mixed with some of that really impure stuff. But I'm thinking the stuff that I have back here. Yeah, like pipe. I'll go and cut all this up. You know, get like a big section of just pipe together with no fittings. And then mix some of the really impure stuff in with, you know, just pipe. Alright, well I got the propane tanks filled today. Got 2 filled, got 1 free. I cut up all of the low-hanging fruit. Nice copper. This bin was getting just unwieldy, you know what I mean? The whole bottom of that bin is filled with lead. And then we got a bunch of wires. The whole bottom half of this bucket is all brass. Plus all of these. I think I'm gonna try to zip over to the scrapyard right now and just delete this. I mean, scrap prices are at highs right now, so... Oh god, there's some weight there. Alright. Gotta go get this done before they close. The last time I did this, I swear to god, I got like 80 bucks. I had a little bit of brass, a little bit of wire, a little bit of lead. You know. Got 80 bucks. This time we had 15 pounds of ACR clean, which was those heater coils. We got $22.50 for that. Romex, 15 pounds. We got $26.25 for that. Lead clean, 57 pounds. $28.50. And then yellow brass, 72 pounds. We got $151.20 for that. Grand total of $228. I am glad we decided to go do that, because that just paid for all of the propane we need and probably a bunch of electricity for this. Alright, we got it fired up. I fired it up a little early. You know, I got tomorrow completely off, but I figured you know, let's try to get all that copper melted tonight, and then tomorrow, you know, maybe we'll have time to fire this up and start pumping out some bars. I just need to find some way of getting them out clean consistently, and if I can figure out that process, I'm hoping with the combination of like the new crucibles, brand new ingot mold, you know, take our time, make sure we put the appropriate amount of borax. Hopefully we can start pumping them out clean, and then I can be working on my house upstairs and have this running at the same time and just run down and check on it here and there. But I'm also thinking at the same time, maybe this would be something better to save until the weather turns cold. Right? Weather gets really cold, the basement's kind of cold, this thing pumping the heat out. Maybe it's better to create some kind of a cycle where summertime, I work on getting the copper, getting the ingots in the queue, and keeping this running. And then in the winter time, the huge stockpile of you know, copper crystal that I've built up all year, winter time, pump out bars, rinse and repeat. Holy smokes, it's like 90 degrees out. Not the best time to fire up the forge, but I noticed you get more propane out of the bottle. When it's raging hot, you get like every last drop out of that bottle. Yikes. Holy smokes, that thing sucks you can just feel it. It's just sucking the life out of you. It is so hot, but it's done. That's cooling. That's gonna take hours to cool off. Now we're gonna break out the drill and a good drill bit and drill a hole right through the corner of each one of these so they're ready to be hung from a wire. So we're gonna update some totals here. Take a look at what we have and what we don't have. We don't have any more copper pipes or wires or none of that. Our tailings bin is empty. I still have 25 pounds of this really, really impure copper. But, like I say, I'm gonna just take 2 of these little brownie nuggets, and as I get more copper, I'll cycle that in very slowly. Very slowly. And then we have 18 bars drilled, ready to go. With what's in there, that will feed this beast for another 5 months ish, give or take. You know what I mean? That's crazy, man. You need quite a... I mean, these go faster than you think, especially if you got other things going on. So I weighed this, just this stack of bars here. That is exactly 95 pounds of copper. Just under 100 pounds right here in this bucket. Then I weighed this, and guess what? It's the same exact weight. This is 95 pounds of copper crystal. So that and that are exactly the same. Like that is nuts. If I put all of these bars in here, it wouldn't even take up half of this. This has 95 pounds in it, and it's full. Like the lid is hitting the copper. So that means by the time I get through this bin should be full to the brim as well. Good. That is heavy. So we have approximately, just right here, not counting the copper bars in the other room that are already done, that have kind of passed the test, I would say we have somewhere between 220 and 240 pounds of copper. Oh, and look at this. This is exactly why I was not in a rush to pump out a bunch of copper bars. Even though I've been getting messages from people like, hey, let me know. I'm really interested in buying some copper, because I know a ton of people have really piqued an interest with copper lately. And there's good reason, right? Because they need a bunch of copper for their AI revolution, right? They need a bunch of silver. But look at this. Look at this. This is why I wasn't in a rush, because I've been really digging deep. Yeah, I started all the way back. I wanted to rewind and learn what money is, where it came from. All the way back to like when people were using freaking seashells, man. And then come to current day. And figure out what I should be doing. And I do think that gold, silver, and copper are great things to stockpile and hold long term, like extremely long term. You know, I do believe, you know, there's no counterparty risk. You hold it, you own it, it's yours. I get all of that, and I know there's people out there that think that they're gonna revalue gold. That's what they're gonna do. No, that's not happening. Like I based off of what my research, I can almost guarantee they're not gonna revalue gold, because that would send silver up and that would send copper up as well, big time. And yeah, they don't want that. They need silver to make bombs, missiles, weapons, and they need copper for the AI data farms. And if they revalue gold, they're like blatantly admitting what they've been doing, which is debasing our currency, which everybody knows it. And it's crazy to me that not enough people know, and not enough people give a shit. Like, we should be banding together, and we should be like storming the steps of the Capitol, saying, or the Fed, and say, enough. Like, we're done with this. Stop stealing from us. But check this out. If we go back, tell me, make this make sense. Tell me this isn't manipulation. Look, so this is volume here at the bottom. Volume, like the amount of traders and money flowing. Right, so you see this huge red spike right here. If we go zoom in and look at the candle that created this volume, it's this one. It's tiny. It's a tiny little red candle. There was a lot of volume there. Same with this one. Right, even this big red candle here, the volume was pretty big there, right? So it's like, okay, that makes sense. A lot of people sold off, had a lot of volume, and then a lot of buyers picked it up and it went higher, right? volume right there, green, pushing back up. Then you come over to this, like, that's a huge freaking candle compared to everything else. That's a massive freaking candle. And there's the volume right there, that one. Like a little pipsqueak. Are you kidding me? And because of stuff like this, I believe that gold, silver, and copper, compared to everything else, if you look at how much the dollar has decreased in value, how much houses have gone up, how much everything else has gone up, and then you look at copper, silver, and gold, and you're like, holy shit. Like, especially silver and copper, they have got to be the biggest undervalued assets on the planet. How are these things so cheap? Right? And I think that's where they get their appeal. Because if the government or whoever is pulling the strings loses complete control and everything just kind of just falls apart, whoever's holding silver, copper, and gold are going to be laughing. They're going to be laughing, man. Because you're going to have something real, of real value. And that's where I believe, like, if you're buying gold, silver, copper, it's got to be for the long term. It's got to be for the long term. It's something that you buy, and you put it away, and you forget about it, and that's it. Like, it's not like an investment you're trying to make money off of. It's just you're trying to freeze your money in time so it's not losing its purchasing power. Right? Because I really don't think the way these markets are manipulated, I don't feel like you're gaining that much. It's just, you're not gaining anything, really, if you look at it. They debase the currency, the metals move up. So you've lost purchasing power, but silver, gold, and copper, purchasing power remains the same as it always has been. You know what I mean? So I feel like the metals are definitely a good place. But it's a long game. It's a really long game. And that's how you should look at it. I don't think you should look at the gold, silver, and copper markets as, hey, I'm going to dump everything in there and I'm going to get it rich because they're going to revalue. I don't think that's happening. Who knows? Potentially they do lose control and everything explodes. And boom, these metals go just like to insane numbers, and that's completely possible. So as you can see by what I just showed you, this whole copper thing is a hobby. I'm in no rush. You know what I mean? This comes secondary to everything else. It's kind of crazy the way it all happened, because I started melting copper with the Devil Forge, scrap copper pipes and stuff, making bars. And I'm like, but this is scrap. It's impure. I want better than this. So I started digging and digging and digging and looking out on YouTube, and I couldn't find a single person that was doing what I just did. There's no one else out there. So I found other people taking impure copper and purifying it, but not taking impure copper and turning it into a finished product afterwards. I believe I am the first person on YouTube that started doing this. Obviously, other people beat me to the punch with, taking scrap and making bars, but they're impure, and that was not good enough for me. So I started making videos on, just the process. I figured people would be interested in that. You know what I mean? And then people started hitting me up. Hey, let me know. I want to buy them. And I'm still getting people to this day. I'll get random messages. Hey, let me know. I want to buy some. It was just kind of weird how it kind of took off. You know what I mean? I wasn't planning on selling them, obviously, because this is a long game for me. It's a hobby that I feel like is going to benefit me, and I enjoy it. I do enjoy going down there and messing with the forge and minting bars. You know what I mean? I love it. And then it just kind of took off. My whole intention was to do this as a hobby and get a bunch of these beauties right here and just stack them up, right? Because God forbid, right? The government, everything implodes. Money's useless, the banks are closed, and blah, 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 right? If you got a stockpile of these and gold and silver, dude, you're just like, yeah, I'm chilling, man. So that was my original intention, right? But then people started just like, hey, I want to buy some. And then I got into a house and I'm like, crap, dude, I kind of do need the money. I don't want to sell them. But all right, well, maybe we can sell them and reinvest it and do it better and just make better bars, and maybe we can make the process better. So I was like, screw it, let's start selling them. I couldn't keep up with demand. I just couldn't. So far, I have produced 73 bars. 73. This is bar number 12. It's the only one I have. And I'm kicking myself in the ass. I should have saved at least one bar from the second run, but I didn't. I sold all of them. And now I'm kind of like, shit. I may want to buy one of the second run back from one of you guys. Or maybe I'll trade you for the third run. I'd love to have one bar from each run, but I wasn't thinking. I saved one from the first, and this is the only bar I have out of 73. I wrote it down on my hard hat up there so I wouldn't forget. So the next bar is going to be 74. We're going to change the shape a little bit. Second batch had the weight stamped on the sides. First batch just looks like that. It's almost kind of creating natural scarcity. Not that I'm trying to create scarcity. I mean, you can just follow along with my YouTube channel. You'll see I have no time. I work 7 days a week. 7 days a week. And after work, it kind of gets old. I'd love nothing more than to, just go mess around with a hobby. And someday, I'm going to have a lot more time to just hobby it up. But right now, I don't. The first two batches were around 70-something pounds, I believe, each. I made 70 pounds of copper crystal, made a batch, pushed it out. Another 70-something pounds, made a batch, pushed it out. We already have 95 pounds, so more than we had the last two. And we still have another 95 pounds of plus of impure bars, to process into pure copper crystals. So we should have 180 to 200 pounds pure copper crystal. And I'm hoping by the time, I purify the rest of it, that I'll be done with this apartment and my time will start to open up, or I have more time to do things that I want to do, not that I have to do. So yeah, I just figured I'd push out a little update for anybody who's sitting there wondering, waiting. I'm sorry, I apologize. You know what I mean? I got some people hooked and they want them. But yeah, it's going to be a bit longer. I'll try to push out update videos and keep everybody up to date, because it's super fun. And who doesn't love molten freaking lava? It's like lava. Molten metal turning into little masterpieces, you know what I mean? And hopefully the next batch is even better. Oh, we're going to make it better. Oh, it's going to be so much better. See you later.